Now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the weekly Noyantis Usergroup Meeting. Today is Monday, the 25th of June, 2018. Myself and I think John is here, although there was a bit of feedback on John's mic a minute ago, so I think he's here, hopefully. As always, any questions or ideas or problems, feel free to raise your hand and we'll cover the particular topic or question that's raised. So, a quick update to what we've been up to this last week while waiting for other attendees to arrive and so on, and questions to be posted. As always, we keep saying about our Chilkat wrapper. The Chilkat wrapper this last week has had more work done to it, and specifically to do with the Google interface. So, and mainly the Google Calendar. But other parts, we started doing internal changes to the class, ready for other parts of Google as well. So there'll be your Google Docs, your spreadsheets, and contacts, and so on and so forth. So there's been changes afoot underneath the surface of that. I can demonstrate one of those now. In fact, I'm actually going to put David on the spot. I know David uses this. So David, I've just opened the mic up. Hi David, have you got a mic to hand? No, I think I've caught him off guard, so to speak. Okay, that's no problem. The mic's open. Should you find one? Oh, hello.
Hey, Eddie.
Hi, David. Just sorry to put you on the spot there. now you know how it feels for me week in, week out.
Yeah, scrambling for the headset. Yeah.
It was just I know that I think you use the Google interface, do you not? Regarding
Yes.
the calendar. Okay.
Yeah.
So now at the moment it really uses the service account. Now we're going to obviously keep supporting that, and we're also then on top of that going to support the OAuth 2 login. So we'll expand the example app to cover that. But the other changes which we basically wanted to cover was, I'll quickly show here. With reworking some of the example here, is some changes to the actual class. So previously it showed you to be able to connect using a key and a user ID. So this is the contact for my service account. Obviously I'm not going to reveal what's in the JSON key, but this is what you get from Google. You would connect and you would post some kind of query which would look something like this.
Yep.
So what we're doing now is we're padding it just like we did with the QuickBooks. Is we're giving you the particular methods to help you basically get all of the content for the actual braining gear at it, the calendar event, and all of the supporting content as well. So what I mean is if we bring the new Google class into view, we can see some quite big changes. So, for example, we now have a group, an event group, and this matches the specification from Google. It will basically, the idea is we use queues and so on, just as we would in the QuickBooks and the Clarion way of doing things. So you can call a method to download the events, and it will populate a queue built upon this group structure. So it will bring them down, and you won't have to do any parsing yourself. And according to the Google Docs, the Google Help, I should say, Google Docs is the product itself. The Google Help, you have basically repeated equivalent of a subtable, if you will, a sub queue. So we have one for attachments, for attendees, for the conference data. So we've defined these structures as well. So for the entirety of an event, if I just highlight basically what the event is made up of, some of it we will recognize, some you won't. But basically, we can see here that an event is made up of the usual end date, end time, and obviously the corresponding start date and start time, all the things you would expect with some kind of calendar. And we will have the supporting ones, the attachments or attendees. Attendees being a good example. We've created the structures again as per their docs to say how they should look and so on and so forth. And if they have a substructure themselves, so like the conference data does have a queue of entry points, we've defined those as well. Then to go to help on that, if we scroll down, you've now got new methods. So we can see here that you've got, sorry, I'm just looking there. We've got basically download events. That takes just a queue of the event. And the idea behind that is it's a very quick way. If we go back to our example, our running example, it will populate a queue of all the main surface data of the events. It won't give you the attendees for each event or the attachments for each event, but it will give you very, very quick, very fast all the actual events. And then if you wanted to query one particular event, you can then just call download event. And if we look at that, we can say, okay, we've got download calendar events, takes one queue. If you download an event, then it populates the entirety, all the data for that particular event, so you can get to all of the attendees, so on and so forth. There's a support method which could come in handy for yourself and going forward, which is the JSON transfer. So basically, it will take the data from Google and it will populate it into the passed-in structures that you might have locally.
Oh, yeah,
So
okay.
it might be you're not bothered about the attendees, but you are bothered about the attachments. So these are optional structures. So you would pass in the attachments, but don't bother passing in the attendees. And the last but not least is the update calendar event. So all these are prefixed with calendar event, because remember, this class is going to be doing the documents, it's going to be doing contacts, it's going to be doing all of well, not all, but it's going to be used for multiple Google interfaces. So basically, we can see here that for the update, you would pass it the relevant structures that you want it to do, and then the action, which is insert, change, delete. So to see, and that's the bit I'm just on. So if we was to bring this into focus here, here's Google Calendar. Let's put one in here. Test webinar. Okay, so we've got that. We'll bring this into focus. In fact, let's just pull that over here. We'll bring this into focus. We'll do our connection. There's our events, which we can see, of course. There's our test webinar, and I'm just going to request to delete it. So yes, I'll delete that. That's gone from our queue. It'd be nice if Google was to update itself any minute now. If not, maybe just a little refresh just to push it along. But there you go. So basically, that's it in action. So this should help with the insert, change, delete quite a lot. That's the idea. So that you should get your hands on
mine, because
yes,
I'm doing mine mainly, a lot of manual.
Yeah, and I bet you've got some of the code, like, so for the example, probably the JSON transfer. You can see I'm just on the delete, you've just seen in action, and the insert and change will get all this, populated in. To be honest, it's only this bit I've got left, and then that bit is actually ready for release, which is quite nice. But yes, here's the Google where it extracts. Yours probably looks something like this, where you're extracting all of the content out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some of it I left because since I am pulling it out, manually, and I didn't need it. The one thing I think I ran into was they store their date and times in UTC.
Yes.
And then trying to get that back to the Clarion date and like the local date and time for the user.
Okay.
That was kind of a challenge.
Now I don't know if you know. Let me open. I've got so many windows open. I thought I had. Don't know where all that's gone. I thought I had Clarion open. Just let me bring this over here 1 second. But in the common class, and I think you're relatively up to date. But in the common class, we added some support quite a while ago for this, let me just open. There we
Oh.
go. NYS Common. So if we do a quick search for UTC, yeah, you've got a calc clarion date from UTC, calc clarion time from UTC. So you pass it the structure, and it will return you the date or the time.
I see. Okay.
And I think, is there a, let me just do that again. Yeah, calc UTC from date time. So you pass it a date and optionally a time and a time difference regarding a locale, and it will return you the UTC formatted date and time that Google or QuickBooks or whatever will expect. Well, it's UTC, so it will be a particular structure. But yeah, you've got those. We use them internally for all of our calls.
I see. Okay. I'll take a look at that. Then that should. Yeah, I was stripping them out and doing the whole.
Yeah. No, I mean, if we actually have a quick look in here. And yes, basically you can see it's starting to cut up and so on and so forth, what it's expecting, just to give it back. Unless I've missed anything on that, of course. Better have a look. So that.
Okay, I'll check it out. That's the common way. Common, okay.
That's in common, so which means that every class has got it. So if you've got the Google class, you've the Google Task class, then you've automatically got it because it's all inherited from Common.
Oh, I got it. So you can say Google class dot.
Yeah.
And it'll
convert UTC. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
So it should be available to you immediately.
Okay. Well, cool. I'll definitely try that out. That was one of my things that I meant to get back to fix it somehow.
Well, I mean,
it's like I'll do the real work later or something. But.
Well, it's there. You should have that in the version you've got now. It came around very early on in the Chilkat stuff, and basically, if there is any emissions or issues on it, give me a shout and I'll fix it in the common class and just get a new upload straight away, so we can respond to that really fast. But I'm not really aware of any. But of course, if there is, let me know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's a plus. And we've got the socket class. Just sticking with the Google. The Chilkat. We've got the common class already, of course, all wrapped and so on. But we're going to be putting a couple of extra examples into here because we've been asked for them, and they will be a socket, so you can actually get data from and to machine, or from and to IP address, or basically where you need to get the data from and to. So basically, we'll be adding that in here, and the SFTP, because we need to get those particular FTP and FTP2 and SFTP. We'll get them example apps worked up as well, because somebody on Clarion Hub is actually waiting for those. So basically you can expect to build out this week of the Chilkat wrapper with, again, further updates as we continue to keep plugging away at them. So that's the update coming up this week.
Okay, cool.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Thanks, Andy. Yeah.
No problems. Okay, so now questions. We have Robert. Did you send the email from last week? Well, let's open the mic. That's quite rude of me. Sorry. There you go, Robert. You
didn't finish? Yeah. Hello.
Hi. Did you send the email? I don't.
Yeah.
Did. Let me just open up last week's, and if I didn't, I'm going to do it now because I've got a terrible memory.
No, we understand how many things we have to. All of us have to juggle at once.
Now, which one was it? Was it the
one that you did on the webinar last week? The example.
The calendar.
The calendar. It might be useful when you do these examples if you put it in some area that we can all download, so we can actually play with them in our copious spare time.
Of course, yes. But yes, no, agreed. We should really have. Do you know? No, that's a good example. I don't know if YouTube allows you to put attachments on. I very much doubt it, actually. But on where we put the videos, we could actually put the example apps up with them. I don't know if that actually does allow you to do that.
It's a good question. It would just be it will save you a lot of time, because basically a lot of folks I'm sure that folks want to play with the examples that you happen to create because they work.
So, yeah, it doesn't look like they can, but that's not to say that we can't implement them. Or I don't know if you heard and so on. We're now posting on Clarion Hub, and we've got our own section on Clarion Hub. Thank you to Brian for that. Then basically, what I will do there is I'll just move that out of the way. I'll create a section. So let's bring Clarion Hub into here under the Noyantis category. I'll create one for webinars, and we'll just have a naming convention. So I'll create this after here. I'll just have a section for webinars, and we'll just put some kind of prefix on there, so it'll be a zip of the example app, so people can actually refer to the webinar and go and get the attachments from here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
No problem. Oh, presuming actually, I'm saying that, presuming you can actually, if I was to do a new topic, can I put an attachment on there? We can. I'll speak to Brian. I'm sure there's a way, but we will find a way where we can store them centrally.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so that was that. You mentioned last week you're looking to starting a new app with the Noyantis controls, like the old one, yeah. So basically, well, let's cover this because that's next. So what is it you? Obviously, we've done one in the past. We did the old demo, and we did a training one. I think it was the training one I also promised I could bring up. But what kind of style of app do you want us to start one now, just to give a look and feel, or?
Yeah, if you were to, you mentioned something about a calendar-driven app that you were working on, and basically that's something that it would be useful for the particular type of application, manufacturing, dentist offices, things of that nature. So something that, with the lab thing, okay, here's what you got to do today, here's the calendar and the things that are going to come up, something like that. To start out, there's I'm working on a number of large-scale dictionaries right now, and I need to start thinking about changing the current interface that we have available right now. So your controls seem to be the way to go.
So from an interface, because this is quite a good topic to bring up, and it's one that gets asked quite a lot. So from an interface point of view, what kind of style is it that you want to try and accomplish? Are you looking for the likes of let's have a look, just a ribbon type interface at the top? So you're going down, basically that type, just a ribbon. Do you like the idea of, and let's just bring it into play, Outlook, where you have basically equivalent of a task panel or a shortcut bar on the left with a work area on the right, ribbon / command bar at the top? This is the type of these are the type of questions that you really are a starting point.
That's the starting point. Something with a left side, main work area, calendar, maybe a ribbon bar, but that would be adding a wonderful bonus in there. The left side task panel, the center work area with, as you have it right there, in a date calendar like.
Okay, so let's go. Let's go something like that. So we're going to need a dictionary. I'm going to just pinch the dictionary out of one of our training apps. Where would it be? Masters. No, not that. Yeah, I suppose that's as good as any. So all of this is going to just be stamped up demo. So okay. So we'll start. Just familiarise ourselves with the demo dictionary. Just we've got something to at least play with. and I think we should have at least have is it called schedule? Okay, so that was basically. I mean, you say about the dentistry. I spent the prior to alongside. No, you did say dentistry, dentist offices, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, any type of where you have to actually schedule dentists, chiropractors.
That's right.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah, basically to go with side by side with Noyantis. I did actually hold down a position down in Nottingham writing that stuff for 11 years. I only finished last year, so yeah, I've got a bit of experience in that. To be fair, we could have a chat sometime if you wanted some notes.
Thank you.
But we've got a schedule table here, so at least we've got something which is we've got a calendar. We've got start date and times, end date and times. So that's not a bad table to use. So we're probably going to focus around that, and we'll throw in some options for some other browsers if we've got time. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So basically, we're going to start with application frame. We're not going to start in that folder. We're going to start in our webinar folder. Now, as always, let's just give ourselves an actual application frame and just a starting point. I don't want a menu bar, so we're going to get rid of that. I don't want nothing more. In fact, that was probably a bad example one to create. Let me just get rid of that and we'll do it again. Template, I just want a window. And I'll just go with an application frame. Oh, that's just done well. Okay. I don't want the menu bar, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, how'd you get rid of the menu bar? Can't really say it's something I do that often.
Okay.
There you go. Delete key. That always helps. And we'll have it maximized by default to save us some clicks. Right. Nothing groundbreaking here so far. Sorry, there's a lot of background noise. It's quite warm here, so basically I've got the window open to try and give us a bit of fresh air, if nothing else. That's going to give us that. Now, adding one quick compile of that. Adding anything to the application frame, it can be done as our templates support it, but if we want to start using a combination of the templates and having them tie into each other, and the adding to the application frame isn't the best way because we're already doing some workarounds. It can be done, but it's just not the best way. So what I would do, we're going to make use of the docking panes. And you'll see why. You don't have to do this, by the way, but I'm going to do just for to show off, if you will. So I'm going to go 18.4 and we'll use Office 2016 Excel. We'll give it colourful. Okay. Just grab that folder so I can then copy in the theme. So all I'm doing here is just copying in the Office 2016 style. Okay. Back to our app. So we're going to make use of docking panes, and we've got that. Going to make use of, we will have the command bars. Office 2016 again, we'll go with the Excel colourful. And we will have the task panel. In fact, for the completeness, we'll actually use shortcut bar and task panel, and you'll see why as we go through it. So at the moment, all I'm doing is just adding the global extensions.
How's multi-DLL support? Is this added to the base DLL, the one with the dictionary and everything, or this is added to the top EXE?
This would be the top EXE. Yeah. The only one you would need to add to the base data DLL would be the docking pane. That's the only one.
All right. Thank you.
And on there, I think there's a tab for it. Window Manager, multi-DLL declared in this app or declared in another app. So that's the only one there. A quick compile. Let's make sure we can start. I'm not going to bother using reg3con, but of course we could do. Now, because going back to what I said a minute ago, we don't necessarily want to add to the application frame, although we could do. What I'm going to actually do is create basically an intermediate window. So I'm just going to have a new one, and I'm going to call it main window. Okay, call it anything you like, of course. It's nothing more than an MDI window. So main application window. This will be an MDI child window, and basically I don't want it to do anything. I don't want any frame. I definitely don't want it to be grey, MDI child, no system menu. It's nothing more than a placeholder. And as the application starts, I'm going to call that. This will give me a window for me to start putting my controls onto.
Does this have to be all MDI based, or it can just?
You would want this one. You would want. No, you want this one to be MDI based.
Gotcha.
Because this is going to start different threads and so on. So I'm going to go under here. After the window is opened, just going to start main window. Do you know what we should really do? Is store its thread, because we're doing it all by the book. We should really close it and so on. But we could put all this in afterwards. But main thread, main window thread. Okie dokie. A quick compile of that. Oh. Have I missed something? Oh, because it's not that, that's why. Main window. Brain freeze this afternoon. Don't know about being too hot. Thank you. We want that to be maximised, and again, no title, so on and so forth. Thought I'd done that actually. This is going to give us our main. This is basically the base of the app, if you will. So that is going to be our app. Just notice we've got a status bar. That's kind of pointless. So we're gonna get rid of that as well. Okay, first things first. What we're going to do is we're going to create a shortcut bar on the left, and let's create that shortcut bar. So that's going to be a placeholder for us as well. So we will scroll down, and I can't see for looking. Docking pane shortcut bar. Place that on here. Create it at 0, 0, and height. Now, kind of doesn't matter, okay? And you'll see why in a second. I'm going to give it the full height, but I'm going to stick its width around there. Go to our extension of that. That's the navigation. We'll have a couple of bars on there. You could have maybe, we'll call one calendar. We'll just leave it as a tree for now. Calendar.ico. Let's rename that. And we'll have another bar. Oh, sorry, and we'll have another bar as well as maybe options. Let's just take a quick look at how that looks. No. Okay. Got 2 bars. No content, of course, but we've got a couple of bars. So we're starting to build our app. And that should technically, I think, resize itself. That's fine, but that's kind of fixed width. So any questions so far? Are we with what we've got so far?
Not for me. If anybody has any questions, please go. Yeah. Continue.
Fine. Okay. Now, what we want to do is I want it so that this, we're showing off a little, but we're going to say, okay, we want that to be able to be folded back. So we want our navigation there, but we don't want it there taking up real estate all the time. So what we will do is then on here, now I'm going to say, I've got it defined, I'm happy, place that out of the way. I'm going to use my docking pane to handle the size of those for me. So I'm going to bring the docking pane. Now you can see here, there's 2 available. One says it's docked, one says it's positioned. I want the docked one. Positioned in any of the controls mean that you draw it on the screen where you want it to a predefined dimension. It will take on that position and that size. Docked means it will dock itself to wherever you said it can be docked, and it takes over whatever space is available. So we're going to go with a docked. And with it being docking panes, they naturally take over everything, anything that's available. So these are nothing more than little placeholders. Oh, why that wouldn't let me go to the edge, I don't know. Go to my actions on here. And again, we're going to have this as pane handling. Anything you like, it's just descriptive. We don't want a client area, which is kind of pointless that anyway, if you want the truth. And I'm just going to change our class name. Okay, that gives us our docking pane. Now, here comes where we get our content. I'm going to say we need 2 panes. One for the navigation, so I'm going to call that nav. I'm going to give it a nice title. Navigation. It's visible. I want it to be open by default, so on and so forth. So I'll go with them. Those. It's not part of a collection. Here, it can't be floated, and it does have a title, and that's really it. Okay. Because it can't be floated, there's 2 ways of thinking of sizes with docking panes. One is when they're floating, and one is when they're docked. I'm just going to go with the thinking of it as they're all docked. So I'm going to go basically use them as like a percentage based. So let's say I'm going to go with 1,000% as an overall. I could go smaller, but there's a reason why I go with 1,000. Out of that, I only want the docking pane to take up, say, 20%. So it's going to go 200 with 1,000 high. It's going to go to the left. So when I dock it, I want it to fold to the left. Not bothered about any of the other options, but its content is going to contain a Noyantis a code jot wrapper. And it's going to contain our shortcut bar, which is that. So now our docking pane our left pane, which is navigation, is actually going to take the shortcut bar and treat it as its content, which means it will handle the height and the width and so on and so forth, taking over Clarion's job for that. We're also going to have a work area on the right, so I usually call that work. No title. I'm going to put it as part of a collection, and you'll see why. I'm going to call that work as well. Can't be any of these, doesn't have a title, and basically auto hide, we'll cover what those are in a second. Auto hide other in the selection, and lazy open. If we said 200 for our left, we're going to go 1000 on the right, and it's to the right. No content, it's just to give us basically what we're after, space wise. Let's have a quick look at what we've just done. Okie dokie. Now we've got our docking pane to the left, and we can see because we can move it here. And our shortcut bar now belongs to that pane. So our navigation pane, which will give it a nice title, we said it can be docked, we said it can come out. Okay, that its content is the shortcut bar. The work area on the side is kind of irrelevant at the moment. That's just spare. That's an empty place. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay.
Very self-explanatory. Thank you for going through this.
No, that's no problem. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to basically give this an option on the left, and we're going to give the calendar bar some options, and we're going to give the options bar some options. I'm going to do that in a task panel. So I'm going to need a calendar. Sorry, not calendar, a task panel for the calendar. So I'm going to have that. So let's put our task panel. Remember, this is going to become. Oh, you're going to see where this is going to become. So okay. So here's our task panel, and we're going to call this a task panel for the calendar. So calendar options. I'm going to call it options because the others are going to end up options. Calendar items. So here's our task panel, and I'm even going to give it its class name of calendar. And I'm just going to give it a couple of options. I'm going to have a group called calendar, and a couple of items. Well, one item in there, which is we'll have maybe two. We'll have calendar staff. We'll have that as staff calendar. Normally I wouldn't do it this way, I'll be honest with you. I'm just trying to think of examples for what we're doing today. So staff calendar, we're not going to say it's doing anything at the moment, okay? Where we will come back and edit this, but it's just to show our options being built. And we will have maybe another one for calendar bookings. I don't know whether I've got, I'm not even sure what icons I've got. Let me just have a quick look. Trying to find, typical, I'm spending longer trying to find this. Oh, it won't be a second. Explorer's just froze. Yeah, sorry about this. I think actually Explorer's just, I'm trying to copy an icon and Explorer's just froze on my machine.
Okay, so VM has probably come back.
So I've just restarted it. There's no point in waiting. So okay, yeah, got that there. And I called it Cal Bookings, didn't I? Okay, so basically, I'm on the other bar. So that's the items for that. Now at the moment we've defined a taskbar, a task panel, but we've not give it anywhere on screen. We get a very small box. That's no good. What we're going to do is we're actually going to say the shortcut bar is going to hold that. Now, if you remember on the bar, we created 2 bars, one for calendar, one for options. Its content is a navigation tree, but we don't want that. We're going to say it's not that. Its content is actually the task panel. So when you go to that bar, it's actually going to grab that as its content. To see that in action, now we're starting to get our task panel. So basically, that should really be hidden. I'll hide that. But basically now we've got our docking panes. We've got a pane on the left. Its content is a shortcut bar. Bar's got 2 bars on it, and the first bar, its content is a task panel. So now we're starting to see the controls belonging to a control, belonging to a control, and we're starting to build a link between them all. And to go one step further, we'll create another task panel, and we'll just put a couple of items on this one, so you can see the switching between the two. So back to our screen, and back to our task panel. That and that. And I'm actually just going to hide them now because the bar is going to take charge of those. This will be task panel options, so it's a completely separate task panel in its own right. And I'm just going to go option items. Maybe let's go to the dictionary just to remind me what tables I've got in here, just to refresh my memory, if you will. What have we got? Countries, currencies, perfect. So just going to have a group called setup, as good as any. Going to have a couple of items. One can be countries. That's fine, and give it an icon. And one currencies. Back to our shortcut bar. Where the hell did that come from? Must have had an RTF highlighted. No, back to our shortcut bar, and on our second bar, we're going to say that is the item, its content. So it's not the navigation, it's a code jock. Oh, sorry about that, I'm going to have to. So yes, but it's that, and it's our other task panel this time. It's our options. So we've got our 2 bars, both of which are containing both of which are containing task panel items. But they are two separate task panels. That makes sense?
You're wanted bad.
Yes,
Yes, thank you.
Now, at the moment, they're not going to do anything. And of course, it doesn't have to be a task panel. You could actually have a calendar date picker in here and so on and so forth. There's different things you can have. If you can, the principle behind any of this, as you probably saw there a minute ago, is where it gets its handle. It assigns all of its content, if you will, via the handles. So the shortcut bar will grab the handle of what it needs, the docking pane will grab the handle of what it needs, and so on and so forth. So if you can get to its handle, you can get to it. And you can dock it. That's the idea. So now that's great, but we've not got any content on the right. So we're going to create one for a calendar, let's say. So I'm going to now, we'll create a blank window and we'll populate the calendar shortly, but we're going to have, they're not giving up, are they? Staff calendar. That's our staff calendar. MDI child window, just as we had
It's
before.
okay. It's okay to answer that because they're obviously not giving up.
They're going to have to wait. Okie dokie. And let's take that out. Actually, no, that can have the grey. That's going to be our the window, MDI child window, which we're going to do something with. So back to our main window, and on here now it's easy to go via the extensions. Actually, what we're going to do now is we are going to have a document, another pane. Now, if we go back to this, we've got the work pane, and it happens to be part of a collection. Probably, I'll give it a different name, that, so work col for collection, if you will. Now I'm going to create one for staff calendar. Staff calendar. Don't want it to have any name. It's going to be part of the work collection, so the work col, okay, which is just a name, any name you want to give it. And again, I'm going to go with these same options like we did before. Now this time, you can. It's worth explaining one of the things. Auto hide other panes in the collection when selected. Now, because these are going to be part of the same collection, what it means is when this one becomes active, we're going to hide the other ones because we want them to look like there's only ever one piece of content on the right. Even though they're all going to be running at the same time, potentially, we don't want them all on the screen at the same time. So we would just want it to look like it's just one piece of content active on the right. So we're going to hide anything else in the work col. So that's what that will do. And we're going to use this lazy open, which means we're going to potentially in your system, you could have 15, 20, 100, 200 different procedures all being called for various different options. When you start your application, you don't want to go and start 200 different threads. The user's only ever going to go in and press one of them. So basically all it will do there is we will only call them and open them when required. So basically lazy open. It means you're not opening loads of different threads, taking up memory, taking up time to open, and so on and so forth for absolutely no reason. So we're going to utilize that, and then we come across. We better set our size. So we said it was 800,000 to the right, and its content is going to be a Clarion procedure. Now it has to have a window so we can get its handle. The name of that procedure is going to be our staff calendar. And of course it has to start it, hence the MDI. So it's going to just say, okay, what thread and what parameters. So now we open up our application and it's not worked. Any ideas why it's not worked?
Where's the data?
Well, basically, it is running. You've got a caption there so you can see it's maximized. But what I forgot to do is, the docking pane is not actually added automatically on that one, so that's fine. So we need to put you should have a docking pane content handler on here. So for the staff manager, for the staff calendar, it can be used as a piece of content. We need to untick that. That allows it to be used by the docking pane manager. So if we run now, and did we put them as a different name? Because one should have, we've actually got 2 panes here and we shouldn't have. Let me just check those names. So the work is part of work call, and that is work call. And they're both set to auto hide. Well, that's just thrown me. Okay, but also on the just one thing I didn't want to do, by the way, is on these bars, I don't want it opening force new selection when switching to this. I don't particularly want it doing that by default. But that's a side note. Let me just take a quick look. I go to here. Don't you just hate it when this happens? All looks good. Two panes. Part of a collection. Oh, sorry, yes, of course. Duh. It should be hidden by default. I don't want that to basically be open by default. I want it to be hidden by default. I only want it to come into view when I actually go to it. So of course there's that. I open staff calendar, and believe it or not, now the staff calendar's come into play. What we'll do on that is we'll put something on this window so we can see that it's opened. So for example, let's just put a string on here. That'll do, because we're going to populate that with a calendar in a second. No content. Right, yep, good. Okay, I forgot one step. I'm glad this is being recorded. Okay, yeah, we've got an extra pane. You with that so far? We've defined a pane called staff calendar, and we said it's hidden, and we only want it to actually come into view when it's being called. Trouble is, we've not called it. We've not said here that any action when you press these, so it's not going to do anything. So now we go back to our shortcut bar. No, sorry, our task panel, which is where the option is, of course. And we've got our items. Here's the staff calendar. We defined it, we give it an icon, but we never give it an action. So this time, what we want to do is we want to actually call, not a procedure, because the docking pane is going to handle that for us with a lazy open. So we're going to actually select the docking pane. And I can't remember what I called it. Was it staff cal? I think it was. So we're going to basically select a docking pane. We'll force it, if it's not on show, we'll force it to be on show. For us to do that, we have to make sure that the task panel is aware of the docking pane, so you just link it. So you can say third-party support, link it to the docking pane, there's the docking pane. So now it can calculate what the docking pane class is and call its methods directly, saving you hand code. So let's just make sure that that pane was called staff.cal, yeah. Take a look at that. We click on here, and now I expect and now there's still this hiding we need to look at, but basically, I'm not sure why that's just done. We've got another pane. We've still got a pane open here. The hiding's not working. Part of the collection. Visible, yeah, happy with all of those. Auto hide. Hidden, closed. Now, I better take a look, because what should happen, that pane should be disappeared. And it's got to be something I'm doing, because we do this all the time.
I believe you.
We do. That's the thing what's throwing me. No hire, no client. We're not part of that collection. That's kind of irrelevant, but I'll change that to work. I just didn't want that to be confused with the one above. Auto hide, and the thing is, yes, happy with that. Staff cal, part of that collection. Hide and closed. Yep, cannot be closed. Cannot be hidden, can be. Let's just turn those off on these, on the work.
That makes sense.
No. It's not the fact that it's not receiving the action. Just want to make sure that the last one I run, I very much doubt it is this, but you kind of have it if you're not using reg-free, that the callbacks don't all get triggered. Didn't think it was, but it's worth eliminating. Why is our work pane still appearing there and being a pain? What you can do as a nicety, I'm just going to do this so I can prove it is the work pane, is I'm just going to say, okay, this is an about screen, if you will. Okay, very crude, just a box standard window. Just as we've done many times over, it's none. Oops, not itemized. None of that. I will put that, and I'll even probably put an image on there. It'll look terrible, but you'll get the idea what you could use it for. So I'm going to put an image on. Full and full. And just looking for our images now. That image could be, yep, that's the image. Noyantis logo. Better add some resizing to that. And for the about, not that one, sorry. For the about window, the work, if you will, window, I'm actually going to have it so that comes up as default. So when we said, oh, it's not going to have any content, I'm actually going to have it, give it a piece of content. I'm going to give it the that window, so that when you start your application, they might not want a big glaring logo, of course, but you could have it as maybe some subtle. Oh, and I forgot to put the. You could have it as some kind of subtle, maybe instruction, or maybe a subtle about screen version number. That usual type things. Docking content manager. Okay, There's our about on the right. When we've opened our application, go to that. So it's that what's not closing, and I'm not quite sure why. Because you shouldn't be getting that. What you should be is it should be just your calendar window. We'll take one quick look, but that can't be a bug because that's not. Evidently it is, but that's not changed. So it's going to be something that I've done. And you know, I do have those on. 800, 1,000. Oh, sorry, of course. Penny's just dropped. Right. We'll go back to what it was. So work collection. I'm going to call this work call for collection, okay? The staff wants to be part of the work collection. We'll have those ticked. One fundamental things I forgot is it was doing exactly what it was told to do. It was opening the staff calendar when it was due to open it, but I want to give the effect that you can't see the previous one, which is the about in this instance, but of course it could be anything else as well. Well, basically, I need to attach it. So not to the work call, I need to attach the staff calendar pane to the work pane, which is here, which will basically, when that is opened, it will give the appearance that it's tabbed. On our docking pane, let's just go the whole hog. On my appearance, I'm going to say, where is it? Can't see if we're looking. Tabs. Here we go. Show tabs. I don't want to see the tabs. I don't want to see icons on tabs. I don't want to see any tabs. So when it actually runs, there's my about or work, if you will. Go to here. Now, the about is still there, but it's just not in focus. It's in limbo, if you will. The thread started. It's running. It's all fine. If you was doing stuff on it, if you was halfway through an update form, it would still be there. But at that point, just let me rerun the application. At this point, this pane has the handle of the about window. When I click that pane is going to have the handle of the staff calendar window. If I wanted to bring, and we'll just do a booking calendar, a booking pane so we can see that. So just for example, so here we've got staff cal. Oh, I'm going to call that booking calendar. Okay. Booking with that one there. Booking. Okay. Go back to our pane and what we want to say on our task panel. Oh, sorry, what was the name of the pane again? I'm sure it was. We need to create a pane for it. So now we will need a booking cal. No title, part of our work collection. Have it hidden and closed by default. I love those options. I want it to take up the 800 and the 1,000. I want it to go to the right, and I want it to be attached to the work pane. And when its content is going to be our booking calendar. So they're both part of the same collection, both attached to the same master pane, if you will. So this is booking cal. So now when we go to our task panel item, I'm going to say when you press on this, I want you to select a docking pane, and I want it to be the booking calendar pane. That will in turn trigger the pane to come into view. If its content, which is a window, clarion window, hasn't been started using because of lazy open, that will then start the thread and it will come into focus. So staff calendar, booking calendar, staff calendar, booking calendar. And basically the pane here, what you see in here is basically you see in you're seeing the booking pane, you're seeing the staff pane, and the others are being hidden. So this starts giving you the navigation of your application, if you will. With it so far, or have I just lost everybody?
No, you haven't lost. I'm glad you're going to make the sample available, because I definitely will have to study this. What you did.
Yes. So
It's making sense. It is
all about
making sense.
ownership and chain, if you will. So we've got, just to quickly recap, we've got an application frame. We're using it nothing more than for Clarion to do its frame content, if you will. So we're using it just for that. Within that, we created a Clarion dummy window, and that's what is placed all our controls on. That's great. We then put a docking pane on it, and we said on it, and we wanted that docking pane to be basically take up the whole window. So if it's resized, everything will resize accordingly. Not resizable, but so it's all the resizing's taken care of for us, because we've just got docking pane taking over all the available space on our dummy Clarion window. Within that, we said, okay, we've got 4 panes now. We've got one pane on the left called navigation, and that's going to contain a shortcut bar. The shortcut bar has a couple of bars on it, and each one of those bars contain a task panel. So we want that to have that task panel. We want that to show that task panel. On the right, we've got a work pane, and attached to it, so imagine it's tabbed, literally a sheet and tabs. Attached to it are two other panes, one for the staff calendar, one for a bookings calendar. And when you press this, it's just going to bring that pane into focus. So far, so good. What we'll quickly do now is, on that staff calendar, we'll put a calendar on it so you can actually see. Okay. So now we're on our booking calendar. So in here, let's get rid of that, and we'll give it a calendar. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I could create this like so big, give it a nice calendar there, and all this is good. This would work. And we could give it a date picker as well. So we're going to put a date picker over here, and top and height. In fact, yeah, same height. Maybe give it a tiny bit more width, and we'll put that over there like so. And we need to attach that date picker to the calendar, which it has done. Just tidy up the class name, because I always like to have it so it's nice and easy to remember to get back to. That's taking some time. I think I might save this in a minute. Okay. And we'll just put the Clarion resizer on this for now. To our staff calendar. Was it the booking? Oh. Let's go to a modal event for. Ooh. Now what was that? I can't say I've seen that before. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the date picker off a minute. I can't say I've seen that before. Indeed. I'm at a loss on that, if you want the truth.
Is there a conflict between the MDI flags somewhere?
No, not at all.
Holy mackerel. Okay.
Is it because I just wondering about the initialization, although okay. I'm going to jump a step, but I'm going to come back to that on my own thing, I've got to admit. Because what I was going to say, okay, when you run it, no, well, I'm not going to be able to run it, but you're going to have a calendar up here, and you're going to have a date picker, but it's not really taking up, it's not making the most of the room. So what I wanted to do, so let's just see if we can do this, and we do this in our example app, that's what I don't get, is forget the docking pane of the application. We've got a docking pane on the application, but forget that. What I'm going to do is say, okay, I want this window to also have its own docking pane, but only for the content of this window. So now we're at a different layer, if you will. So I'm going to have a docking pane in here, and I'm going to have two panes. I'm going to have one for the calendar, I'm going to have that to the left, and I'm probably going to give it 850. I'm going to have that to the left. Its content is going to be a piece of the Noyantis code jock. It's going to be the calendar. It's one I prepared earlier. I'm just going to tidy the class up. Attempt to execute a modal event for non-current thread. Something on the calendar being initiated. I'm going to take a look at that. I'm sorry, I don't actually know what that is.
Oh, no. Don't worry about this. I mean, we've done enough. You've gotten the framework in. I believe it's kind of fair to give you a chance to look at that offline, because if you just give us if you just provide the wonderful piece that you got so far, and then you can investigate the calendar thing at your own pace, rather than being under the gun and under pressure right here.
But it has thrown me, because, as I say, in our training app, let me just show you, because I always like to prove what I'm talking about. But in the training app, the Formula One, which you would pinch a dictionary of this, it's one I prepared earlier. Presuming the controls, I'm not sure what version of the controls it's using. Let's try one of the older ones. We'll register a couple, because I've deregistered quite a few, I'll be honest with you. So let's just open that folder. Not sure, it's probably 1640. So let's just no, just wants to prove me wrong. Let's go the whole log. It's going to be one of them, isn't it? Right, I'm going to open that in a minute to find out what version, because I'm getting nowhere with that. Let's just put this back to booking calendar. So at least from an example point of view, you've got your framework so you can put your applications in and so on and so forth.
Or at least study what you've done. So
yeah, so you've got it. So we've got booking calendar, staff calendar. So you can navigate between the two to see them.
And
okay.
we can pick up next week on if you want to continue when
Definitely.
you have time to continue. Yeah, but this gets me started to the point that I begin to study and understand how to put applications like this together. Thank you.
No, it's no problem. I am just going to quickly just open up because I just want to see the Formula One app. Just what version it's running. Then you can see what it is that you kind of, what you're working towards, so to speak. Okay, so this would have been 16.3.1. We did all the way back to 16.4. Thank you. Oh, right. Let me just get rid of my that save and restore file is rubbish, but you can, of course, you can do all save and restore, and that's just what you saw there. A bad one, if you will. Okay, so here's our application. That's the kind of thing we're expecting. A different theme, but that's all it is, a theme. And then we could go to our schedule, and you actually get to see, the different things. And this is the window, but this has its own docking pane on it, so you can see that you can actually move around the content of the window as well as the procedure within the app.
Excellent, thank you.
So, but we will continue that next week.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
No problem. Now, very quickly, Jesper's got a question, so I'm just going to quickly bring him into play. Where is he? Jesper. There we go. Hi.
Hey.
Hello? Hi, can you hear us? Yes?
Yeah, fine. I have a question.
Report control.
Yeah, report control.
Okay.
I am loading manually. I'm loading the report control, and then I'm going to update one of the lines. And when I get back, I wanted the line to be refreshed, but I seem to have trouble with that. With refresh the line.
How is the data going into the report control? Is the data?
I'm manually loading it in a group.
Right. Okay. Then what you would need to do there, let me just bring that into play. You're manually loading, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Just let me prepare some stuff here. So just tidy that up. That's gone. Right, won't be a second. We can get rid of that, and I'm just trying to find the report control example, so it won't be a second. Okay. So let's just take an example of one of the ones which are manually loaded. So I should imagine just a simple report control.
Yeah.
There you go. So this has probably got, so it's got a procedure called add row. It's probably in the load data. Okay, so this is just setting some parameters and then calling a local procedure with various parameters. Okay,
Yeah.
this is a manual loading. The reason I'm going to say, and this is a local procedure called add row. It's going to call various different methods, which you are doing. You're calling the add row. This is going to call the separate cells, if you will, with their data. Yeah. Now you can prime up a group, and it is the best way of doing it. So on the end of here, if we have a look at the prototype, let me just bring that into the tooltips have stopped. That's great. Okay, but basically you are correct. The fastest way of doing it, if you call in the add row, is to give it a row ID, don't repaint it, and the third parameter is a group, where you can prime up a group and it will push that straight into the report control. But for updating,
that's fine for me. Yeah.
Yep. So for updating, you're going to have to, because that group's already been used, you're going to have to update the individual cells. So you're going to be wanting to use the set row cell, now I'm looking for it, value and or caption. So you can see here, they're the two we're after, set row cell caption and set row cell value. You pass it a row ID, a column ID, and then for the caption, it would be the formatted text that you want to see on the screen, and for the value, it will be the raw value. Now, sometimes they can be one and the same. ABC is just ABC, but a Clarion date is a very good example. You would want to store the value of the date for sorting values, so all the dates go chronological. But from a caption point of view, you would want to display the formatted date. So 76500 comes out as, the 31st of June. Oh, sorry, not 31st of June, bad example. The 30th of June, so on and so forth. So that's the difference between the value and caption. At the moment, that's the only way that the insert, the add row, if you will, does take a group. If you want, I'll add you an update row, which also takes a group and does all the same work as the add row. It wouldn't be hard to do that because the work's already been done. Let's have a quick look here. He says it's easy to do. Famous last words, but let's just take a quick look. Clarion 10, accessory, libsource, report control. So we'll focus on the add row. And we can see here, as we said, it takes the ID, the whether to refresh, and a group. So there'd be no problem. Add row. All that does internally is call the physical add row, internally keeps track of its queue, and then adds the default cells. I could create you an update row, which basically does that same job, if you will.
That would be great.
Let me take a quick look on that. What time are we on? Oh, no, let's just take a quick look. Let's add row. ST, not the field picker. We want to be under the date picker, the report control. There. Okay, update row. Again, it's going to need that. It's going to need that, and it's going to take. Actually, that's going to definitely need the group because it'd be pointless having it otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. Update row, that's not optional anymore, so it will need it. We need a get row obj. Brilliant. Okay, it's already there. So okay. If it's update row, it wouldn't need a process dependent buttons because there wouldn't be. You'd already have done that when you selected it. Oh no, values might have changed. Yep, process dependent buttons. Okay, so we get the row. If it's not equal to something, that's great. We're going to have that. We've got the object, so we don't need to do that. We don't need to set its tag because that would have already been set. We wouldn't have to do that. So it just comes down to that row object defaults. Okay. Won't be a second. Row. P. Don't suppose there's a. No, it's not a collection. Sorry, I was thinking aloud. What I'm looking at here under here is I'm on the record. This is where you would create the add item, so on and so forth. What I'm going to have to do is destroy the items and then go back and recreate them. You see, and an item is really a cell. So I'm just looking for delete all. Report record. Removes all items. Brilliant. Perfect. That's just what I was after. So basically, we won't need that. Won't need that. We won't need that. What we will do is cx direct command. row object. So for the object or row object, we will do the delete all. Did we already have a delete all? No. No, okay. Okay, we can give that a whirl, but I think that's it. So let's just try this. Very crudely then. Row 1. We're going to, what's the last row actually? On this row 18. Just going to add 2 dummy buttons. Add 19, which is basically add row 19 and update 19. Okay.
Yep.
Under here, add rec 19, which wants to be something along the lines of very simple.
Yeah.
Actually, this isn't using a group. Okay.
Notice.
Okay, well, we'll just have to give it what columns do we have? Okay, I'll keep that on one side there. I'm going to create a group structure for that data. Oh, no. LG data. So within that group, we'll have a record ID, record no, if you will.
Mm-hmm. We
happen to have importance. I'm going off here of the structure. The group has to match the structure for everybody watching of the columns defined. So we're going to go okay. So importance. I can't remember what the actual definitions of this is, so I'm just going to go with that. Message class, and again, I'm going to go string 1. I don't know what it is really. Attachments. From received. Now this is a date. Oh no, yeah, because you're going from a group. But okay, received. We'll just do that for now. I'll go with string 11. And last one, checked. Okay. So basically, what we can do with this is clear LG data. Prime up this group, ready to go. Oh, well done then. Okay. Can't remember what that was. Message class string, importance 0, record 19. So technically that should, we should be able to do report control dot add row. We'll call it rec 19. We are going to refresh it afterwards because we're only adding the one and we want to pass it that data. So that's as you've got yours, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, there you go, down the bottom. So we want to do the update now and see if we can change that to some random text. And yes, we want all that to be the same. I'm just going to put random number. Okay, that should give us random 0 to 99. You get the idea.
Yeah.
And that wants to be update row. Add update.
Brilliant.
So that'll make it a little easier for you.
A lot easier.
So okay, I will. It won't be tonight, but I will get you that build out tomorrow.
Okay.
Give me, in fact, yeah, I'll put my update string previous cost. Yeah, I'll leave myself a post-it note. It means nothing to me. Right, okay. I'm going to put the sticker on my keyboard now. Report control update. Release, yeah. And I can also tie in a couple of things which goes towards what we were talking about for Kevin last week regarding the blocks, the clashing of the blocks, because there's a bit of work on that. Not much, but there's a bit of work that to do with strategy if you are using it in trackbar mode. Where are we? And you add a block. And so on. So now it's starting to take effect of a clash strategy. So, right. Well, we're over time. I don't think there's any other questions. Was there? Oh, will the demo be posted to Skype Noyantis? Yes, actually, no problem. Why I can't actually do that? Yeah, let me do that. Brian and Robert, you were saying before, until we get a central repository, which we should have had by now. Let's face it. I'll put the demo from today's app into the Skype chat, the Noyantis Skype chat. So it'll just be a zip file, and I'll put it up there, post it to that, so people can at least grab it off there should they want it.
Super.
So, okay. Yes, but by all means, if you've not heard from me, say by lunchtime tomorrow, jump on Skype and ask where the update is.
Okay.
No problem. Okay. Well, that was a good one. Hopefully, everyone
Could you
enjoyed
send me that one? Could you send me that one you made your in now?
This. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not the app, but the.
Yeah, I'll zip that, and but of course it won't be any good until you get the template update.
No, I know.
So, but yes, that's no problem. In fact, I think I might do the template update first. I'll send that to you direct, but I won't put it on the main one until the template's out. Otherwise, people will be asking. They'll think it's not compiling it, it'll be an error. So.
Okay.
Right, okay. Until next week, I thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.